you sure about this?
Positive. Trust me.
Okay.
See? What did I tell you?
This is why I love you.
You can send roses to my dead drop in Prague. Now that you've made it to Taipei, what are your plans?
I sort of figured I'd improvise and put an ear to the ground and see what I can find out.
Don't you think you need a little more focus than that?
I've got 3 leads to start with. This Stephen Heck guy seems like he knows what's going on in Taipei. He might be able to answer some questions.
Be careful, Mike. I've checked my databanks, and I can't find any evidence that Stephen Heck has ever worked for the CIA.
I'll be on my guard. There's also that anomalous data trail from Shahid's system. Any luck tracing it down?
I managed to follow it back to a place in the warehouse district. I'm forwarding the address to you now. What's the final lead?
Simple. Follow the money. Shahid was funneling large amounts of money to a front corporation for the White Oak Mountain Triad. I think I can persuade them to tell me why.
Sounds like you've got everything figured out.
Isn't that why you love me?
You watch yourself out there, Mr. Thornton.
Always.
Police raided a warehouse in the Apria district earlier today on reports that it was being used as the hub of an international arms smuggling operation. No shots were fired during the raid, as police discovered several dead bodies in what appeared to be a deal gone bad.
Chinese government officials today announced that the People's Republic would issue sanctions against any nation recognizing Taiwan as an independent state.
The Chinese have always held the official position that Taiwan is a
Madison.
province.
Good times.
I
wonder if she's ever gonna call.
Separation from the mainland. Chinese officials are growing nervous.
When asked what form economic sanctions might take, the Chinese ambassador to the United States said, quote, "We will take all actions deemed necessary and appropriate to safeguard Chinese sovereignty." In fashion news, designer Robin Goulet's latest show in New York was greeted with surprisingly mixed reviews.
The focal point of the show was the controversial theme of ruined beauty. Models dressed in Goulet's latest designs would stroll to the end of the runway, where they were actually drenched in real pig blood.
Well, many did find it outrageous, some less so. Fans of the designer called it a, quote, "new and breathtaking twist in fashion," while critics called it, quote, and various animal rights groups picketed the York was greeted with surprisingly mixed reviews.
The focal point of the show was the controversial theme of ruined beauty. Models dressed in Goulet's latest designs would stroll to the end of the runway, where they were actually drenched in real pig blood.
Well, many did find it outrageous, some less so. Fans of the designer called it a, quote, new and breathtaking twist in fashion.
I think there's
while
enough coke
critics
residue
called
on
it,
this knife
quote,
to get very,
gaudy,
very
overblown,
high.
and completely gross. And various animal rights groups picketed the show, claiming it was, quote, disrespectful to the suffering of fellow creatures.
In response to these protests,
Hello?
In the back. With you in a sec, buddy. Not too uncomfortable, I hope. Now this is dry cleaning solution. Active ingredient is perchloroethylene. Gets stains out like a champ. Like a champ went, believe you me.
Gonna be hard getting that stuff down his throat. Want me to get a funnel?
A funnel? Yeah! That's a killer idea! So you remember where they are now, do you? Candy dish. Ah, that does it, Wen. You know I don't like sweet... Oh, the candy dish! That's right! That's where I left my keys. Should have said something earlier, Wen. You see what I almost made you drink? Good old Wen. Always getting into antics. Anywho, what can I do you for?
I like your style. Do any of the people you've interrogated know anything about an attempt on Sung's life?
You came to the right place, and you're lucky you did. See, people come in and out of Taipei all the time without asking for clearance, so then I have to erase them so they don't expose me.
I wasn't aware you had jurisdiction here. What are you trying to hide exactly?
My secret identity and everything I know, that's what. Listen, did you know that in the 1960s, the CIA surgically jammed a mic and antenna into a cat for an op codenamed Acoustic Kitty?
No, I've never heard that. Have you heard of anything relevant to my previous question?
Oh, it's relevant. Just between you and me. And when? You're with the agency, am I right?
I'm with an agency, but U.S. tax dollars don't keep the lights on.
Really? SIS, Office of Secret Intelligence, Majestic 12, TVC 15. Oh, wait, EPA.
Something like that.
Yeah, I work for a division of the CIA that doesn't officially exist. Super secret. They just kind of turned me loose and let me go nuts.
Uh-huh. So, can you help me or not?
Depends. How do I know you are who you say you are? I have to ask because, funny story, one time a salesman came in and I thought he was buying secrets about the German Chancellor's security detail.
You remember a few years ago when Castro got ill all of a sudden?
You did that?
Well, let's just say I was in Cuba at the time, on vacation.
That was you? Shit, I heard about that. Bravo. So, Ronald Sung, huh? Hey, did you ever notice his name's an anagram for lard on guns? Ironic, isn't it?
Hey, yeah. And considering that item posted a few years back in the Worldly Weekly about that pig fat being used as an experimental bullet toxin, not a coincidence.
You might be onto something there, Mike. I'll look into that for sure. Ronnie Sung. What do you want to know, Mike? Personal demons, pant size, political capital, sexual proclivities?
Actually, all of the above. But right now, I'm most interested in who might want Sung dead.
Political assassinations. Yeah, those are fun. One time I took out an entire soccer stadium just to kill the premier of Namibia. Hey, did you know at 400 miles an hour, soccer balls can decapitate people?
I didn't. But Sung?
Sure. I can tell you this, Mike. There's a big conference coming up at the Grand Hotel. Sung's gonna be there, along with a few dozen EU bigwigs and the like.
Any idea what they're meeting about?
They're meeting about that little firecracker in Rome, how much it's helping the climate of fear rise a few degrees. But that's just a fact, not a guess. Emotional meteorology isn't what I went to school for.
I didn't bring my conference pass, and I don't feel like waiting in line, unless it was worth my while.
Taiwanese National Security Bureau is providing the security. You think those cats don't just have oodles of stuff on everybody who might want their boss dead?
Wouldn't be too hard to slip in and borrow some of that information.
Knew that would appeal to you, Mike. Hey, give me a call when you head that way. I'd like to be in on this.
You got it. to see the Red Lion. I'm a friend of the Sheik. Sure, I presume? Nice place you got here. You know, I always wanted to retire someday and open my own restaurant. Maybe a little sandwich shop.
Who are you? And why are you wasting my time?
Oh, sorry. The name's Mike Thornton.
What is it you want from me, Mr. Thornton? I have no interest in bantering with an American cowboy. It upsets my digestion. Please, get to the point.
Someone is planning to assassinate Ronald's son. You've been receiving transfers of funds from Shahid. I'd be willing to pay to see if these two facts are connected.
Interesting. I admire a man who presents a business proposal clearly and succinctly. Mr. Thornton, a man in my position does not get to be a man in my position without knowing the value of a good trade.
I can understand that. I suppose the question is what you need.
Some of my lieutenants seem to think they would do better without my loving guidance and gentle hand. They have set up shop in a disreputable part of town. Now, if you were to discourage them, I will tell you what I know.
You don't even know me. Why trust me with something like this? Why not use your own people?
My own people are known to these roads. You, on the other hand, look enough like an ignorant Guaylo tourist that they might only mug you.
Well, when you put it that way, it's hard to argue. All right, Mr. Hong.
I knew you would see the wisdom of this deal, Mr. Thornton. Contact me again when my wayward children have been dealt with, huh? Oh, and Mr. Thornton.
Yeah?
Don't call me Mr. Hong.